Hi everyone, I'm Catherine, the artist behind Bigelow Fine Arts. How is your coloring going? Did you start your crest yesterday? Let me know below how it is going. Today I'm continuing the crest in Enchanted Forest. I'm sticking to a simple palette for this stylized crest. My pencils are ready, come along and join me, and let's color this in together. I'm starting with the permanent green today and working up more of the leaves. The bunch of leaves surrounding the shield are my first item. I go over the entire leaf bunch in one light layer, no change in pressure or anything. Now I'm going to go over it again with a second layer, but I'm going to either use more pressure at the base of the leaf and release it as I get closer to the tip, or I'll add more layers to the base and fewer to lighten it up near the tip. Either method works, but one is a little easier on my wrist, and if I know I'm going to be coloring for a long time, I tend to use more layers than pressure. Either method works, and sometimes I use both. It is important to make sure there is a cushioning sheet underneath to prevent indentations on the next page. I go through and I do this for all the leaves in the bunch and the matching leaves on the other side of the shield. The leaves inside the shield get a light layer of the permanent green as well as the little leaves on top of the shield. With the Naples yellow, I am coming in and working up the base of this stylized flame thing. I guess this could be anything, but I'm assuming it to be a flame. The bottom I'm working up in yellow, and the flame part I'm going to work up in the scarlet. I am doing the same thing here with the layers as I did with the leaves. I add more layers near the base of the flame and lighten the layers as I get closer to the tip. For me, this sometimes works best to add a light layer over the entire area, then adding more layers at the base. And looking back on the footage, I sometimes wonder why I jump around so much. Back to the leaves and the shield, and with the permanent green, I am adding more layers to the base of all the leaves here as well. The stylized leaves around the top of the sword are getting the same treatment. I am working up only the top part of the leaves, and each section is treated as a separate section. I put in a light layer over the entire area, then darken the base of each section. I hit up the little leaf thing with the outline as well, doing the same dark to light treatment. For the castle, I'm going to begin adding more details. I made some of the roofs brown using the burnt sienna and some of them green using the permanent green. I used the tiny thumbnail at the back of the book to block out my colors and also looked at the castle later in the book. The castle has two different kinds of roofs, shingle and tile or something like that. I'm not quite sure what they are. So I'm coloring them up different colors. I will be doing this when I reach that page, so I want to reflect that here in this stylized crest. Hopefully I didn't mix up what roof had what type. I color the entire castle in with the grey too. I just go over everything. This color isn't dark enough to hide anything, and I'm not pressing hard enough to burnish, so I know I can put more layers on top of this color if I want, which is exactly what I do next. I use the yellow to fill in all the windows to make the castle look cheery and bright. Then using the grey 4, I add in a few light shadows because apparently I can't resist shadows. I am putting them everywhere with this darker grey, including one side of each little roof. I darken the door and the bridge a little as well. Moving on, I'm using the pine green to block in the grass in front of the river, as well as the outline around the shield. I want this outline to be pretty dark, but I am not pressing hard yet. Again, I don't want to damage the paper, nor do I want to make indentations on the pages underneath. So I will have to come back and keep darkening this and other areas up to get the effect I want. After I fill in the shield, I work up the stylized leaves around the sword. I put the pine green on the bottom part of the leaf and the outline around the other leaf. I am again putting more layers near the stem of the leaf and fewer layers near the tip. For the sky around the castle, I wanted something light and bright. So I began with a layer of the light phthalo blue as a starting point, and to see how it looked. For the water, I go with the middle phthalo blue, and this is why I wanted to lightly block them in. If one blue had clashed with the other blue, this would have been my chance to either erase one of them, or to go over it with a darker color that would work better. Apparently they both worked, so I'm happy with that. For the small shield up at the top, I am going to work this up mostly with the two greens. I'm beginning with the pine green on the background. With the permanent green, I am filling in the thin stripes as well as the leaves and the outline around the shield. I use the cold grey 4 on the stripes to darken them up a little. Then I use the Naples yellow on the crown. I just go over the entire crown with the yellow. I'm not concerned with any areas that might have gems or openings or any of that. I just block it all in with the yellow. If I decide I want something more like gems for a pop of color, I feel like I could get more color to go over the yellow. Right now, I just want it to be flat. Now I want to add a bit of background around the middle part of the crest, and I am starting with the black. I feel like I want something that goes dark to light here, almost like a charred background. I have no idea if this is a good idea or not, but I'm going for it. I come in lightly with the black and fill in just the center portion of the crest. I go over it with the cold grey 4, as I wanted to see if that added to the background or did nothing. I felt like it added to the background, so I kept going with it. I ended up stopping on the background for now, as I wanted to begin darkening up some of the crest to help it stand out from the background more. So I am essentially going over every element that I already colored in and adding in more layers to bring up the saturation of the pigment and give a richer color. I am pressing a little harder, especially in the little vines, as it is harder to get good coverage in such a small space. I'm beginning with the permanent green and starting with the leafy vine. I work up all the leaves and continue working my way down the side of the crest, working up everything already colored with permanent green on the one side. I then come in with the pine green and do the same thing, working up all of the dark green elements with more layers to really fill them in. I then fill in more of the background with black, going around all the small elements before coming in with the grey 4 to add another layer on top. I'll be stopping here for today. Tomorrow will be the last day for this page, so stay tuned to see how it comes together and what I have picked out next. I hope you've been following along. Please let me know below. I'd love to know how your coloring is coming along. I'm on MeWe and would love to build a coloring community there with everyone to share art, talk art, and discuss supplies. I have my social media links below. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, MeWe, and Patreon. Patreon has a sharp write-up, as well as all the palettes I am using and a list of the timestamps. It's available for everyone. If you have any questions or page requests, please leave them below or reach out to me on social media. I put in a list of chapter breaks in the show notes, as well as a list of the equipment I like to use. If you use any of my affiliate links, it really helps me out without costing you a thing. I want to thank you all so much for coming along and joining in with me on this coloring journey. I appreciate all my subscribers and look forward to more of you joining in and coloring along with me. Please like, share, and subscribe to help that happen. Until next time, happy coloring!